It has been 7 years since hit TV show Xena Warrior Princess went off the air. Despite this, the fandom is still going strong. What drives the fans at the center of this community? A passion for the show, or something more sinister?
Courage will change the world.
Since the show's inception in 1995, the fans of the show, or Xenites, have speculated about the love interests of lead character, Xena. The Xenites are divided into many different groups: subtexters, shippers, bitexters, multi-texters, horse-texters, milf-texters. The list is endless. We decided to visit a Xena web forum, called the Xena Online Community, to gain a clearer view of these groups and how they affected the fandom on a day-to-day basis. Subtexters believed that Xena was having a relationship with her longtime traveling companion, Gabrielle. The show's makers did know about the subtext, and often indicated at a more intimate partnership between the two.
Okay, no one.
Now for the fun part.
Queen Gabrielle. Not tonight.
Despite this, the nature of their relationship was kept ambiguous, right until the very end. In the show's final episode, Gabrielle is forced to save Xena's life by passing water to Xena by kissing her. That's right, kissing her. We spoke to Xena and Gab are the gays forever, an enthusiastic subtexter who said, "There is absolutely no evidence to prove that the water transfer was indeed a water transfer. She insists that water just isn't solid."
Danger excites you, and as you know, I am somewhat dangerous.
Meanwhile in Shipper Talk, the topic of Xena's real feelings for Ares are being discussed for the third time today. One member under the name Sexy Ass Ares brings up the famous line from Season 5 episode, Amphipolis Under Siege,
I felt something.
while strictly avoiding the mention of two. But what does TUE actually stand for? After a little detective work, we discovered that 2 was the code name for the episode Soul Possession, an episode which has increased many shippers' therapy bills.
Now that I can live with forever, with forever, with forever, with forever.
We asked the ringleader, KD Late, about the unmentionable episode, Soul Possession. She seemed unwilling to comment on this, saying that she had never heard of such an episode. Shortly afterwards, our camera crew were attacked by the woman. Of course, amongst the subtexters and shippers, there are those who like to sit on the fence. Multi-texters and bitexters are apparently open to the idea of Xena sleeping with as many people as humanly possible. After all, there are world records to break. Sorry, I apologize. I really don't know what came over me.
She ran away.
God, do as I say! Go!
It's just so touching.
Apples? You left me for apples? Well, thanks, pal.
Anyway, back to those pairings that are not illegal.
Mrs. Robinson,
One of the latest additions to the fandom is SubText. MILF, meaning Mom I'd Like to Fuck, is a term that has been made popular by teen film American Pie. Excuse me 1 second.
That is next week's show.
SubText is next week? Moving on. Sometimes a topic will arise in the main forum where shippers and subbers are forced to discuss who was Xena's real partner. The battling bard, Gabrielle, or the god of war, Ares. These often turn nasty and become violent arguments. Members have been known to chop off each other's heads, throw around spinning discs, and beat innocent horses to death. Survivors of such incidents often return many hours later, in the pouring rain, requesting the heads of their fallen comrades.
Give me her head!
Our camera crews were forced to leave to avoid the risk of being caught in the crossfire. However, this would not be the last we would hear of the Xena online community.
Today, some of the worst riots in history took place as members of the Xena online community stepped out of their front doors this morning and began attacking seemingly random members of the public. Upturned cars, burnt out buildings, and graffiti bearing such messages as "Xena is da bomb" are just some of the crimes that have been committed. The two groups which started the riot, SubTexters and shippers, have also been fighting with each other. Now we go back to the protest line, where earlier on today, an anonymous butch lesbian briefly flashed the words, "We like what they do," before she streaked through the crowds.
Sometime later, after everything had calmed down, our camera crews returned to the forum. We decided to speak to shipper ringleader and forum administrator, KD Late, who issued us an apology.
You may flagellate us for the sins that we committed against you.
No, that's not.
No, we insist.
Lorena, you don't have to.
Do it!
At least, we think it was an apology. We asked an uninvolved forum member what they thought about the recently named text wars. GhostText47, now deceased, said, "They're all wrong anyway. It's obvious that Xena is doing it with either Akemi or Bo Rias." This view was challenged shortly afterwards, when another member pointed out that both of these characters were dead. To which GhostText47 replied, "So is Xena."
You're dead.
Coming up next week, we take a look at the god of war Ares and his relationship with the warrior princess. Lover? Father? Or both?